folks, it's me, Geddy. Apologies that the video jumped straight in. Normally I've got my wee intro there, but unfortunately bad stuff happened to my computer and I had to format it, losing everything. That's me just starting to get back up on my feet and operational again. Apologies that I've not been kinda active for the past month almost. I actually got a new job, which is good news. Flip side, videos will probably be uploaded even less often than what they already were. But I'm going to try and get some content out where I can because, like I say, I enjoy doing this and video games are fun. So, check out this game here today, Aven Colony. It's recently been released. In fact, it got released on the 28th or the 27th or something like that. So like 4 days ago. I've been playing through it a wee bit, and the only way I can describe it, well in my head anyway, it's literally as if Planet Base and City Skylines had a baby. It's actually really good. You're quite free on where you can build things. Like with when I played through on Planet Base, I didn't record it, I just played it personally. I felt like you were kind of honed in on where you could place stuff, but with this there's a lot more freedom and room to grow and room to move your stuff. Lots of events can happen, as you can see happening in the background splash screen here. You can have like invasions of these like things that are like spore carriers, and they can infect your city and cause bad things. You need to set up defense turrets like that. You get ice storms, there's all sorts of like natural disasters and stuff you need to contend with. So we'll hop into it.
Hello, Chancellor. It's good to have you back again.
I am a Chancellor, which is actually quite cool. They were calling me something else. They were calling me Governor before, but I have been promoted to Chancellor. I've played through Van Aer's Sandy Gulch, and I'm currently not started as Zara Falls yet on my personal playthrough, but if we're going to set it up, I think what we'll do, we'll keep it on normal. We'll start at the start. The Holosim 1 and 2, they're basically just tutorials. They're good tutorials, basic tutorials. They cover everything you need to know to get straight into the game. So we'll jump straight into Van Aer. Van Aer's a nice tropical climate. There's not that many disasters that can happen, but there's still that edge there. So you start off with a little basic colony like this, and then you have to grow. Drops off little missions down here in the corner.
Your colonists have been informed of your arrival and are eager to see what their leader can do for them.
These missions are really good. They're entirely optional, but they're actually really good for setting you up and getting you rolling with your colony. So the first thing they suggested was build a water pump. Water pumps have a water overlay map where you can see where everything is. So obviously, the darker the blue, the more water there is. So we've got 16 water per hour here, whereas if we were to plop it there, we'd only get 9 water per hour. I don't really bother too much with it. The way I see it is, if you plop it down on a big tile like that, that's one less water pump instead of having to double up, and then you connect everything with these tunnels, because the atmosphere on this planet, although it looks nice and tropical and humid, the atmosphere, according to the playthrough log, it is 90% carbon dioxide. So unless you want carbon monoxide poisoning, you best stay inside those tunnels. Another thing about the air, while we're on the subject of air is a thing that you need to micromanage with air filters and intake fans. And if you read the descriptions, it explains what they are. Intake fan is basically your basic air intake, and it circulates the air. Downside to an air intake fan, it is vulnerable to toxic gas. Toxic gas. Oh, we've got some migratory alien species here up in the sky. Toxic gases come out of these geothermal vents, and when they do come out the vents, if you've got air intake fans, they can get into your air supply and basically kill off your entire colony. It's not very nice. So we've built up our water pump. I should have actually showed you these wee construction drones going to work.
Your colony could benefit from a higher level of food output.
So we've got our water. Now next thing is food. So you can either have a greenhouse or a farm. In this game, there's 2 seasons. There's like the warm period that we're in just now, and if you look down here, you've got the winter period. In winter time, you're plunged into eternal darkness, so solar power loses efficiency and farms do not grow in the winter. You have greenhouses that grow at 50% efficiency during the winter. So we'll plop down a farm. In the farm, you've got yourself some basic plant life that you can grow. So melons here are going to be a good choice because it's nice and fertile for the melons. I think what we'll do is we'll try and branch it down a bit first. So what we'll do is we'll bring a path down like this. We've also got some resources here that we'll be able to tap with a mine later on. So here's our reconstruction drone here, going Waham. So he basically, they use nanites to build stuff, so it just throws it up. It's actually quite cool. And then if that's too slow for you, you can speed up game time like this, and then that's how to go our wee thing. Currently we've got 16 settlers and they're not very happy, so we'll try and get them a farm and see if that cheers them up a bit. So we've got melons, so if we plop our farm down here, get our repair bot out, he'll plop down, give it a minute, he plops down a farm, and we've got a broadcast.
Hello, Governor. I wanted to remind you that the mission objectives from my team are here only to guide you. While several of these objectives are necessary in order to complete your mission, your first priority should be the safety of your colony. As an experienced colony governor, we trust your judgment, and I urge you to take your time and put your colonists ahead of your mission. Good luck.
Good luck. And so she's basically the one that's saying these missions here in the corner are completely optional, but they will help you out. So, next thing to do is our wind turbine they're asking for. If you look down here, this is your power. Power supply will be 23 in the winter, and we are currently using 36. So, we need to get ourselves a wind turbine. Good thing about wind turbines, completely self-sufficient of sunlight, and from what I've seen, they never really stop turning, so it's a good source of electricity. But if you're wanting to power your entire colony with them, you're going to need a lot of them, because they only produce, I think it's like up to 6 power. And some of these buildings, like for example, we'll just go in here, we'll have a sneak peek. For example, the stadium, that requires 90 power. So you can do the math on how much of that you would need. So he's throwing up the wind turbine, our power's jumped up to 48. And another thing you need to keep track of is your colonists' happiness level.
I think another mining facility would...
Copper mine would be good, yeah. But first of all, I'm going to show you something that is called the commute overlay. So, our colonists live over here so far in this habitat, the Prometheus Lander. To get to their job, which is in the farm, they're going to have to walk along, and in. Colonists do not like walking long distances. So, if we're going to have a farm, a couple of farms, and a mine over here, in my brain, there is absolutely nothing wrong with plopping down a little settlement. So, if we go into residential structures, we've got ourselves a habitat. We can plop that down, and then you can see these green arrows. That's everywhere in the area that they're going to supply habitats to do their supply colonists to do the jobs. So they'll be going to the farm, they'll be going to the water pump, and they'll be going to the drone control room. So we'll plop that habitat down there. At the same time we're doing that, we will throw up a mine. Mines go on these mineral deposits here, so we've got ourselves some iron. So we'll get them to throw that up. Winter warning, winter approaches, and our scanners indicate that power failure is likely in winter unless you take steps to increase your power supply during winter. Farms will not grow crops, greenhouses will grow at 50% rate, solar structures will generate 50% power. So in the winter we're only going to be generating 29 power. How do we overcome this, one would say? Well, we have a nice lovely geothermal vent over there, and we have what's called geothermal generators. So we can throw one of those in quickly, construct a path to it, and we'll upgrade this. So we've got more construction drones, speed up time, and hope he gets it done before winter comes. We are actually at insufficient power just now, so hopefully he'll get that done quick. He hasn't got it done, so we need to bring offline, deactivate some structures. What else can we deactivate for a bit? You have insufficient power. Thank you for the reward, but temporarily we're shutting down operations because we need more power. What else is using power? Deactivate you. Right. You should have enough power. What else is using power? The mine's deactivated. You're deactivated. We'll fuck this up. All we can do. Do we have any policies that will help this out? We don't. Bugger. How do we fix this? If we survive through the winter... Yeah, I was about to build a geothermal generator, but winter hit. So how much food have we got per colonist? We've got plenty of food, we've got plenty of water, so hopefully we'll live through the water. We'll live through the winter, sorry. Speed it up to times 8 speed, and pray we make it. The winters in this game can be really, really nasty. But I've noticed that on every map you always have this little thing to fall back on. It's your resupply pod beacon, and that gives you a bunch of different stuff to try and stop you from dying on the first winter. So we're going to make it through the winter and hopefully our power will spike up. 47, 48. Right, that's us full blown into. So what's using so much power? I think it might be generating 4 electricity, generating 4 electricity. Using 1 electricity, we've kind of snookered ourselves. Bugger! I've got ourselves between a rock and a hard place. In fact, no, because we've not got enough electricity. Can we just implode? We've probably killed some colonists. But that's us got power again, so go, go, go! Get everything online. Right, the food supplies are low, I know, so we're going to power everything back on. Can't deactivate. Iron mine, can't deactivate. Can't deactivate. Everything's back up and running. I think. Right, so we're back up and running. Everything's okay. We're okay. We've now got 128 power. Good colony could benefit from more residential areas, so they want an outpost. We'll build an outpost instead because that's slightly less power demanding. I was holding my breath there. I thought I was about to ruin this on the first playthrough. But we got it back for the clutches of death. That winter was actually quite heavy hitting. We're on low food and we are at marginal water. So the way the food works is it doesn't look at your overall food, the number of food you have. It looks at how much food per colonist you have. So if you look there, food variety is good. The food quality is marginal. That's because we're kind of no 100% growing the best melons in the world. But 12.3 per colonist. That's you kind of like, oh, borderline having to ration the food. So now they're asking us to build a nanite processor which will run off of this mine. Nanite processor is basically the building that lets you construct additional buildings, because all buildings use nanites and you need a nanite processor to convert your iron to nanites. And we can press C, which I think is cool, and you go into surveillance mode and you can basically tab along. That constructor is loud as all balls! And you can have a click on all your colonists and see what's up. then we'll come out of that. Get that nanite processor up. So once that gets workers in it, we should be producing nanites, which is good. What's my next mission? A mini storage depot. Why would I build a mini storage depot? In fact, we'll throw a mini storage depot. Where will we throw a mini storage depot? We'll throw it there. Next to the colony. Right, so I've got a feeling that this mine's going to be affecting our oxygen quality. So if we go here, we can get an overlay of our air quality. Bad air indicated with the red triangles obviously, and green chevron means good air. So bad air coming through there, bad air coming through there. Basically majority of the buildings in the game generate polluted air, and in order to fix that we need to put down an air filter. We'll put the air filter right there. Power's okay. Time's okay. So on the last time I played through this, basically what I did was I had the geothermal providing power primarily, but as a secondary fallback I had basically 2 lines of windmills that would give me enough power. So basically you get the side missions that I've been completing, and you get these main missions from like the CEO of the company, which is this woman here. 9 times out of 10 when you complete a mission for her, she gives you some sort of reward, be it nanites, bread in this case, and some immigrants. 9 times out of 10 I prefer to just go for the food, because when winter hits hard. Winter is coming, so having that extra wee bit of food definitely helps. So overall happiness of the colony. They've all got a sense of purpose, which is good. They all feel free, which is also good. Food's plus free. Entertainment is negative free. Not having access to their consumer goods like their toasters and stuff like that, that's quite bad. So entertainment was taking a hit, so we'll put down something that'll entertain them. I think a bar and grill would be lovely. So yellow arrows is where the workers will come from to work. So they'll come from the lander and my wee outpost here. And blue arrows is places that will provide the service to. So it's basically going to provide the services to all of the workplaces on my colony at current. So we can plop that down there. Dispatch our wee construction drones. They'll fly out. Speed up time. They'll get that built up. And that's us got ourselves a cheeky wee pub. Cooper's Bar, Bistro and Lounge. Lovely stuff. And now we can see that that's spiked up our morale, and everyone's average happiness is around 82%, which is good. This is where stuff gets fun, when we start messing around with immigration centres, because this is when you start to see the spaceships. So what we'll do is, we will branch up 1, 2, 3, we'll branch up this way. And we will plop down an immigration centre. Right there. Speed up time a wee bit. These things take a while to build because these are basically your umbilical cord towards the mothership in orbit. For immigrants at least. So now you can read over it. The dropship is descending. I can hear it. Here it comes. I love the ships, the modelling for these ships. I just think they look cool as nothing else, with their wee flaps deploying and stuff. And they do this wee wiggle when they come into land. It's just like that wee left and right wiggle. And he's docked, and then we get a notification that should say, oh, we're getting 3 new colonists per trip at the minute with this one.
Here's your next population.
Reach a population of 50, that's an easy mission to go over time. And then she wants me to build a habitat. So, what I think I'll do, winter is taking a toll on our food supply. Water supply is going to be adequate. The water pumps are actually quite smart in this game. You can set them to either pump so that you have 16 per colonist or 22 per colonist. It basically stops it constantly pumping and basically filling your inventory with water. So, when it reaches to, I've got it set to 16 just now, so when the water reaches 16 per colonist, the pump shuts off. See, not pumping, not needed, so it doesn't fill your inventory up with water basically, because inventory space is actually quite valuable in this game. So my plan here is to recycle. After saying that inventory space is quite valuable, I'm going to recycle a storage unit. Recycle a storage unit to pave way for, how much power does the habitat need? 18 power. I think we're just going to have enough power, if my math is correct. 10 plus 10 away from 29, that's 19. So we'll have one spare power left over. Not to worry. Habitat constructed, my math was correct, we can all breathe easy. If we need more power, we can always just throw in a cheeky wee upgrade to our geothermal station. Build an intake fan. I don't want to build an intake fan, I want to build an air filter, but they want us an intake fan. So we will throw down an intake fan here. And then we need to build a tunnel to it, because another thing with colonists, when they're doing their commute to work, they don't like walking through a building to get to another building, so ideally you want to have it linked up with tunnels so they can just beeline straight to work in the morning. So now that we upgraded our geothermal plant, we're now at 159 power, which is good. New mission available. Build a trade hub. Trade hubs are good when you have enough nanites for them, so speed up time a little bit. Why are you only producing 0.5 nanites? Because there's only one worker. So, if you're looking for, if you're in a situation like this and you need more workers, you can always click on the little briefcase and set it to a high priority. The higher the priority, the quicker they'll fill the jobs, and now we're up to 1.2 nanites per tick, pretty much. It's quite, I think it's the, we'll speed up the mine as well, because I think the mine's a bottleneck a little bit. Question is anybody going to fill it? Maybe I need to put it on fill. Anybody? Maybe because I don't have enough colonists. What was that? Low food, 9 per colonist. Like, we're not doing too good on the food, so let's bring him up to high priority. Bring the nanite down to a slightly lower priority, and bring you to a normal priority as well. So we can fill up our farm and get our efficiency going. So we're getting more food per colonist. 9.3, 9.6. It's coming back up. There's a spaceship flying away. Like the trade hubs, these are big ones. These are good at, these are like quite good at getting you in a sticky situation. So here comes the trade ship. The trade ships look a little bit weird. I'm not quite a fan of the trade ships. See this weird, almost like an aileron that's like a big circular thing, but I don't, yeah. It's one of those ones you just look at it and you go, yeah, you're not 100% keen on it, but at the same time it still looks cool. So I think that's cool how it drops the supply pod, empties it, reloads the supply pod, and then you can go into a trade contract with the mothership. So I could export 100 melons for 120 porridge. Build a second construction drone hub. This guy wants me to export 100 melons. Look, at slow the game down because I'm getting run away. So we'll say that, sure, we'll export 100 melons if you give us porridge back, because porridge is nice. It's good to have. One of the things that pisses off the colonists in this game is if you don't have enough. What's the word I'm looking for? Variety with the food. I don't understand how they've got good food variety, because I only have melons growing at the minute. So we'll check that out real quick. In our inventory, oh wait, no, we've got a small collection of stuff. We've got some quinoa, ration packs, porridge, melons, corn and bread. So they've got a decent wee thing going there. Low food again. How's our jobs looking? Are we filling the jobs? 39% of the jobs filled, 32% of the housing filled. we've basically not got enough colonists for the jobs that we've got. But now we've got an immigration ship flying back and forth. He's bringing 5 new colonists per trip at the minute, so here he comes again. He drops off the colonists. Colonists will come out of here eventually. They'll move themselves along. Crisis detected, game speed. They'll move along, they'll find themselves a place to live. Once they've found themselves a place to live, they'll move on into greater things, producing food for the colony, producing nanites, producing raw resources, water, air. They'll go into a job and produce services for all of their other colony members. What are we running low on at the minute? Water is marginal. Food is dangerously low, so I'm thinking we're going to need to produce ourselves another farm for next resupply pod is available. When that pops up, you know you're kind of fucking up. So the resupply pod normally gives you a mixture of nanites, food and water just to try and keep you on your feet. So we can summon the resupply pod, 3 hours to land in, 2 hours, 1 hour. And then I can't remember if it comes down in a parachute or if a ship drops it off. Oh, here it comes. It just comes down on a wee parachute. And resupply pod has touched down. So that added the resources, and then you can also recycle it and get some cheeky nanites. What tier is our farm? Let's upgrade the farm because we're only on tier 1 of 3. We need more food because, as you saw, we are dangerously low on food. That supply pod kept us above water. So yeah, I've been playing this game through personally for the past like 3 days straight, and I'm having fun with it. What's this guy wanting us to export now? Export rice to import 200 pasta. Fuck it, we'll do that. So you're currently getting upgraded to produce melons, so we will get ourselves a tier 2 farm to produce rice. See, rice isn't as efficient, but we're getting a trade deal for it, so we will plop it down next to the melon farm. Construction drones will go to work. Sorted. They are now producing rice slowly, so the rice should go to the trade ship to get taken back up to the mothership. So yeah. That's another thing you need to watch out for is lightning strikes. That's why you have lightning towers. The lightning towers are actually really good because, as we saw in that situation, literally like 10 minutes ago, where I almost put the colony under the ground after being in charge of it for 5 minutes. Energy batteries can bring certain buildings back online just to try and get things moving again. So basically the rock and hard place situation I got was, I built the habitat, which sapped all the power to the point where my drone, construction drone hub was offline, so I couldn't do anything other than destroy the building. So I destroyed the building, got power back, and then I was able to recover for that power shortage by building my geothermal generator. How's our air quality? Music just stopped. Air quality is good. Good stuff. Commute. Everybody's happy with their commute. Crime overlay. Crime's okay just now. Crime's another thing you need to watch out for. Employment overlay. Basically, purple is where they live, green is where they work. Overall happiness. Everyone's pretty happy. Housing overlay. Fully occupied. Low occupancy, and they're kind of 14 out of 16, 8 out of 54, 16 out of 16. So that'll get crowded, so you might get a crowded debuff for that. Nanite production, iron production, melons, rice, water. Untapped resources here. We've got a copper deposit behind our lander. We've got all sorts of resources. The map on which you can, this one here, from what I've seen, is the smallest of the maps, and you've still got ample room to like grow your colony, and so you can end up building like actually a decent sized colony with multiple different areas. Like you can branch it out, so you've got your farming area over here, your mining area could be over here, and then you can have your residential in the middle with all your lovely wee services like your hospitals, your retail centres, your parks, just to keep them all happy. And then you've got your security, you need plasma turrets and stuff. Plasma turrets will protect you from shard storms and stuff like that. But anyway, we're rolling on. That's us just hit the 30-minute mark, so I think I'll wrap it up here for this episode. I'm definitely really interested in this game, and I'm probably going to upload 2 or 3 more episodes. In fact, we'll probably keep going with the episodes just to upload this until I get bored of the game, which is highly unlikely because I'm absolutely loving it at the minute. But, well, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next episode, and I'll try and get an intro going for the next one, hopefully. I'll see you all later.